On show 454, we look back at Tesla's Q1, EVgo deploy auto charging, and Volkswagen ID on the market from the 8th of May. Those stories, and of course many more, on the show today. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, Thursday edition, 25th of April today. My name is Martyn Lee and I've been through every EV story today and picked out the best ones for you. Although it's mostly Tesla news, yes, there is more going on today. There is more happening in the world of EVs than I can possibly report on. But these are the essential stories, I think. And of course, we have to start with Tesla and the Q1 financials, what it means for the cars, for the buyers. If you're looking to buy a car or interested in the cars, we're going to get onto that very soon. Thank you as always to myev.com for helping make this show. It is the world's first marketplace, all about buying and selling and learning about only EVs on there. You haven't got to wade through all the crud to get to the good stuff. Elon tweeted today, and I'm going to start with this. It's selfish. You probably don't care if you're listening in a right-hand drive market. If you've got a Model 3 already, you don't care about this, but I do. You know. And as I had to write the podcast today, I'm putting it first. Elon tweeted, UK Model 3 order page goes live next week. Followed shortly thereafter by Japan, Australia, New Zealand and Hong Kong. We will delay the $1,000 full self-driving option price increase until May the 10th for those unable to order by May the 1st. So that to me sounds like a May 1st. He doesn't say, he says it's orders open next week. That to me sounds like May the 1st. So today's Thursday, maybe you're listening to this on Friday. We'll get through the weekend, get through Monday, Tuesday. I reckon beginning of May, right-hand drive, Model 3 orders will be open. Do I care? Yes. Will I buy one? No. I care because it's such an important car in the history of the evolution of electric cars. When we look back in many years' time, we'll know how important it was, and we know how important the Model 3 is already. But the right-hand drive markets, we're feeling a little unloved. So it sounds like they're about to start making them. It's great news. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to have a play on the configurator. Definitely going to have a play. Definitely going to do some window shopping. Oh, man. Look, it's hard, isn't it, when there's a bright new shiny thing to resist buying it. God, I really want one. But, you know, maybe I'll wait. God, it really hurts to say that. It'll only be the performance or the long range and the performance versions to begin with, which will be super expensive here. That's their MO. That's what they'll do. No, I haven't got £60,000 to buy one. God, it'd be nice though, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's move on. I will carry on dreaming. You know what? If I had £60,000, would you get a Model 3 or would you get a Jaguar I-Pace? There is the question. On the WLTP cycle, which is how it's our version of the EPA if you're listening in the USA. The Jaguar I-Pace rated for 290 and change, I think 290 something miles on WLTP. Top speed 200 kilometers an hour, 0 to 64 point something. Yeah, that's all the speed you need, right? And it's a Jaguar I-Pace, the inside of it a lot nicer than the inside of a Model S or a Model X. Model 3 different though, because Model 3 you're kind of living in the future with that one single screen. But still, it's a very nice place to be, in high performance car, and it's a Jaguar I-Pace. I know some will say it's not that efficient. Anyway, this was a digression I never intended to take. I just suddenly thought, well, look, if you had 60k to spend, what would you spend it on? You know, I'm sure you can do that. That's the thing about Jaguar dealers as well. I'm digressing on the digression here. Jaguar dealers, I'm sure there's a deal to be done. List price 64. I reckon you can get it for late 50s here in the UK. If you turn up and said, I will buy that car right now, you could get the Jaguar I-Pace for a number beginning with a very late 5. Right, enough digression. Let's talk Tesla Q1 financial report. They announced yesterday their earnings. It was because of the time difference, so late in the day. I didn't want to delay yesterday's podcast to get it on, so that's why it's appearing on today's. Tesla reports profit levels achieved late last year couldn't be maintained all the way through to the beginning of this year. Nobody expected high Q1 profits, but Elon Musk did guide for a modest profit or maybe a slight miss. Yeah, it's quite a big miss. We'll get to that in a moment. Right, the main bullet points. Elon Musk reiterated that all cars being sold now, built today, are self-driving, able, and can be robo-taxis. He said there will be 1 million robo-taxis capable sometime in 2020. He said massive deliveries in Europe at the end of Q1 was actually a good problem to have. Half of all deliveries happened in the final 10 days of that time period. Elon is proud of the fact that people are paying a premium to get the Model 3, he said. Not a lot of mainstream EV rhetoric was being used, according to InsideEVs, who were hanging on every word of that call last night. The chief financial officer is Zach these days. Zach Kirkhorn said it was one of the most complicated periods of the company's history, citing some one-time charges and overseas deliveries skewing the report. Automotive revenue losses mostly connected to Model S and X declines. Price changes in there as well. Also, the Tesla Semi prototypes working well. Production bumped a few months. Was going to be 2020 production. Now it'll be, or was it this year into 2020 or 2020 into 2021? Let me confirm, because I've obviously got a bazillion Tesla facts floating around my head today. He said that the prototypes of the Semi have been used to deliver Model 3s. Location for production, not decided. Batteries will come from Sparks, Nevada. Model 3 production is between a couple of places. Fremont, Nevada. He alluded to finding space in Fremont to build the Model Y, backtracking on the plant being packed to the gills. Previous quote. On self-driving, Elon Musk said this, and I quote, "We're just going to continue reporting. Tesla is more efficiently operating as a company than it was a year ago." End quote. Tesla will continue to add stores in locations that are no-brainers. They're going to close stores that have low footfall. It's common sense, said Elon Musk. The $35,000 Model 3 is inconvenient to order, but it is on sale. We will dive into some of those stories now. Tesla said this. I'll give you the Tesla quote, by the way. "We produced roughly 63,000 Model 3 vehicles in Q1, which was approximately 3% more than the previous quarter. This improvement in production rate was modest, mainly due to changes to the production process for the introduction of new variants of Model 3, fewer working days, and a supplier limitation. We started production and deliveries of Model 3 vehicles for overseas markets during Q1. To quickly meet international demand, Europe and China Model 3 builds occurred in the first half of the quarter, with builds for local US markets in the second half. This wave of quarter-end deliveries in the US, China and Europe meant that even short delays caused deliveries to be deferred into Q2. To improve our operations, cost efficiency, and customer experience, we're in the process of balancing our regional vehicle builds throughout the quarter." End quote. Autoblog chimed in and said the company was ramping up production of its Model 3 electric sedan. The vehicle that Tesla sees as the key to its future success stood by their 2019 annual forecast of between 360 and 400,000 vehicles, and said it could produce as many as 500,000 vehicles if the Shanghai Gigafactory reaches volume production just in time in the fourth quarter. Tesla said it would make a loss in the second quarter, but predicted a return to profit in the third. Musk said that global deliveries were the most difficult logistics problem he'd ever seen. Simon at Teslarati said that Tesla's CEO Elon Musk and the company's executives explained on the earnings call that the company's lower-than-expected performance was due to one-time items and circumstances such as delivery delays for the Model 3 in Europe and China. With Tesla back in the reds, here's what Wall Street analysts are now saying, and Simon at Teslarati goes on to list a bunch of quotes. You can read them, I'll put a link in the show notes, mostly pretty negative. All right, I think they're all pretty negative, actually. And some of them, considering their financial reports, their analyst notes to investors, the first one that he lists was sort of packed full of hyperbole and inflammatory language and saying this is the most, was it chaotic or something, or a debacle of a Q1. And you're like, wow, this is like meant to be a financial report. And these analysts are writing it like it's like a Harry Potter book with, well, I mean, I would say just a little bit more restrained. But anyway, I'm not writing financial reports. I'm just the guy on a podcast. Tesla is looking at Germany for a Gigafactory, according to Elon on Twitter today. Tesla is already operating its Fremont factory that makes vehicles they have to export all around the world. Shanghai is coming online. Gigafactory 3 will make cars for the local market, Model 3 and Model Y for the local market. And according to Electrek today, they would like to do the same with factories in Europe, a factory in Europe to supply European markets. Elon Musk said Tesla is currently considering building a factory in Germany. And that would make sense, because Tesla Grohmann Engineering is the German company they bought a couple of years ago. They have a base in Germany. And, Germans like to buy domestic cars. They're kind of used to it. They're lucky. They've got plenty to choose from. So Germany would be a great location. Not the cheapest, I would imagine, with labour costs. Highly skilled, but maybe not as cheap as other places. Tesla will continue to offer that $35,000 Model 3. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, despite minimal orders. Some have said that Tesla's moving the $35,000 standard range Model 3 off the menu, and as a suggestion that it'll soon disappear. One of those suggestions came from me. That's what they always do. They take it offline. It goes what they call off menu. So if you go into the store, give them the special handshake, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, give them the password, they'll let you order a car off menu. And the $35,000 standard Model 3, the one that they simply had to sell, otherwise they would have had so much grief. They can now say, hey, look, we sold a car for $35,000. It is available for sale. You've just got to go into the store or give them a call. So I was one of those that was more cynical about this. Elon Musk said it's not the case that it's coming off the market. He promised during the company's earnings call that base model will remain available, at least for now, according to InsideEVs.com. Earlier reports made it seem as though Tesla wasn't planning to keep the car around for long. It's because off-menu normally means the car is difficult to obtain. The automaker failed to clarify pricing specifics, whether or not autopilot's even included at $35,000. Elon Musk's indication that you can still order it is helpful to any concerned shoppers. However, it doesn't clarify when it will go away. Surely it has to go away. If you do plan on ordering a $35,000 Model 3, which we now know, there's been clarity on this. We now know if you buy one, $35,000, if you can get into store, if you can get through on the phone and you order one and you get one, we now know it will be the standard range plus software locked down with a smaller battery. So you get the partial premium interior, maybe you even get autopilot, who knows, and maybe in the future you'll be able to throw Tesla a couple of dollars and they'll unlock it. So it is a proper standard range plus, which really is not much more money than the $35,000. It's that, what's 39 and a, oh God, there's so many price changes. 39 and a half, I think. I'm no Tesla expert. This isn't a Tesla podcast, but it's less than 40, isn't it, with the recent price changes, but that now includes autopilot. Woof! It does confuse me. If you want great Tesla podcasts, by the way, you know my favourite is Ryan McCaffrey, Ride the Lightning. There's a great financial one which is called Tesla Daily Podcast. And I highly recommend that. I think, as I'm telling you, I'm trying to think of the others that I haven't listened to yet. If you've got any recommendations, let me know. I'll pass them on. I wish I had more time to consume other people's content. I'm so darn busy doing this. Well, before fans pile into theatres for the latest and maybe greatest Marvel flick, Avengers Endgame, the original Avengers cast teams up one last time for the long-awaited movie's premiere in Los Angeles. One of the most recognisable stars, Robert Downey Jr., turned up to the theatre in a concept car. He only went and turned up as Iron Man himself, the kind of car that Iron Man would drive, an Audi e-tron GT, says Jeff Perez from Motor1.com today. Audi unveiled the e-tron GT last year at the Los Angeles Auto Show with a 90 kilowatt-hour battery pack, 582 horsepower, fast charging, 0 to 80% in 20 minutes, wireless charging on that as well at 11 kilowatts, slower speed, but, just park it over a charging pad and just walk off. Audi gives the e-tron GT an estimated range of 250 miles, but it'll charge quickly. That's on the WLTP test cycle, and we've seen those videos online of the Audi e-tron GT being driven with police outriders. Driven very slowly, by the way. Not real test drives, but certainly there's some of those YouTube videos out there if you want to have a look. Right, 2 more stories to go. EV Go. This is huge, right? This is huge for anyone who's a non-Tesla driver. It's the dream. And the dream is beginning. Turn up to a charger, plug your car in, and just walk off. EV Go announced it will be the first public EV charging network to debut what they're calling auto charge. Innovative technology instantly recognises your car the minute you plug it in. It initiates automatic charging, and it'll do that after a one-time registration. Auto charge functionality enables EV Go, if you are registered with them, to start a fast charging session in seconds without the need to open the app, swipe a card, or tap your contactless card on the front of the unit, saving drivers time and delivering a seamless fast charging experience. And that can be a while. I had, for some reason, there's a network here in the UK that uses an app, and they're called Ecotricity, the electric highway, and I hadn't used that in a little while, so I pulled up to charge. It was over the Easter weekend we've just had, and opened my app, and it had logged me out, and I couldn't remember my password. And then when I finally logged back in, it was just misbehaving, and I got a charge in the end, but it was just a real faff, and it took like 4 or 5 minutes. First world problems, right? But it was still 4 or 5 minutes of my wife going, should we just get to the next one? Like, what's going on? Hang on a minute. And I hate to admit defeat with technology, but it worked in the end. And so this is really good technology. You can just plug it in and walk away. EVgo's auto charge reaffirms the company's leadership, they say, ahead of industry-wide implementation of what is called ISO 15118. Catchy. Anyway, it's plug and charge is the standard, and it's a new standard which is in development but not yet scheduled for any launch by automakers, but EVgo are going to be ready. Finally, one of those automakers that will be ready for wireless charging is VW, the ID, a few days away now from when Volkswagen will open the order books for the VW ID. May the 8th in Europe. More people are getting familiar with the VW ID, and we've seen more leaks, says Mark Kane for InsideEVs.com. According to Automotor and Sport, the base version of the ID, still not confirmed it's going to be called the ID, maybe the Neo or maybe the One, who knows, will not be available initially. Can't buy the base model to start with. It's said that the price will be less than €30,000 for a 48 kilowatt-hour battery. In France, they have a €6,000 incentive, and so that means at some point in the future, if that incentive sticks around, €24,000 after incentive for a 48 kilowatt-hour car. That'll do. The mid-range car, the first ID, if it's going to be called the ID, is going to be the launch edition. 62 kilowatt-hour battery, 450 k's of range, that's about 280. Real world, I don't know, that's on WLTP, so maybe real world 260, or 255, 270 maybe. The price of it's expected to be certainly above €35,000, that's $39,000. The public debut is going to be September at the Frankfurt Motor Show, but pre-orders May the 8th here in Europe. Right, thanks to myev.com for sending us another question of the week. Get your comments in before Sunday, and I'll read yours out. What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard about EVs? You can tell me, email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment on YouTube and Facebook. Time for the endy bit then. There are 218 patrons of the show and somebody else who's up their support. I will thank them on tomorrow's programme. Thank you for doing that. It's unnecessary. It's enormously gratefully received though. So thank you so much. I'll give them a name check tomorrow. There are 453 previous shows online. They're all sitting in the archive. Their storage isn't free. It's what Patreon pays for. So hopefully it's a body of work. It's maybe a document as we go through the weeks and months and years as well. 453 shows living online. Thank you to your funding, your Patreon supporters. If you want to download any new ones, of course, you can get them first and free and automatically by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And you can get them for free every single day. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.